Hey everyone, welcome back to Today in Tech. I'm Juliette Beauchamp and I'm here with Macworld Executive Editor Michael Simon, as well as Computer World Executive Editor Ken Mingus. We are live on Computer World's LinkedIn as well as on YouTube. So if you have any questions or comments while we're discussing, please do leave them in the comments or in the live chat if you're watching over on YouTube, and we'll do our best to respond while we are actually live. So the topic of the day, you may have heard rumblings of the iPhone 14, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. What we're focusing on today is an iPhone 13 event on September 14th. Apple's annual September event is occurring in just a few days, and the biggest rumored product announcement is probably going to be the iPhone 13, along with perhaps an Apple Watch, maybe some AirPods. So to talk about it, we've got Michael Simon and Ken Mingus, like I said. So iPhone 14 aside, what's coming in the 13? And is this Apple's biggest event yet?
Like in the history of the world ever?
Most dramatic.
No. I mean, it'll be fun. iPhone events are always fun.
Mm-hmm.
But from what we hear, rumors and for all intents and purposes, we know what's coming. It's not a huge leap generationally.
The iPhone 12s, I'm telling you, it's a 12s. They're going to call it a 13.
It's basically a 12s. I mean, we were just talking about this a few minutes ago. Like, the numbering of iPhones is basically just whatever. They were on a cadence there, whereas the 4S, 5S, 6S, and then the 7 came along. Then they went to the 8, and then they skipped the 9, and then they went to the 10. The 10S came back. Then it was 11 and 12. So who the heck knows? But it's looking like they're going to call it the 13. It's looking like it's going to be visually very, very similar to the 12, with the mini, 6.1-inch Pro and non-Pro, and then a Pro Max at the top. Same sizes, same
prices. I heard too.
Same prices. What we hear, there were some rumors, not really rumors. It's real, where there's a supply crunch. TSMC,
right,
who makes the chips for Apple and a lot of other people, they're raising prices, but Apple is so big that A, they probably shored up their prices a long time ago. B, they can figure out how to absorb those costs in other areas. And C, they already raised the price of the iPhone 12 last year, which no one really noticed, but they did. It went up by $29 for the mini and the non-Pro model, the non-Pro 6.1-inch model. Then they had carrier promotions, which is very un-Apple-like. That brought the price back down to $699 and $599. But it's not. My guess is they're going to leave it there at that. So it's not quite what it was. They're a little higher than they were, but the expectation is that it won't go any higher than that, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. But it's not like they're cheap. I mean, they're $700, $800, $900, $1000, $1,100. I mean, they're a lot of money already.
Isn't the operating assumption, Michael, that the announcement is on the 14th, along with whatever else Apple is going to release, with pre-orders theoretically starting on the 17th, and then the phone arrives on the 24th?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they've done.
That's the guessing game right now.
Yeah, that's the Apple way.
Asking for a friend, not for myself, of course.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Event on Tuesday or Wednesday, pre-orders on Friday morning, shipping the following Friday. iOS 15 will probably land on the 22nd or 21st of the, that's just how they do it usually.
Mm-hmm. So what are the new or rumored in one way, or what sort of new features do you predict in the 13? I will link, Mike, your article, sort of really doing a conspiracy deep dive into the invite and trying to pick up on any hints that Apple may had offered.
Yeah, that was all very tongue-in-cheek. I mean, we do this all the time. We look at the invitation, the words, the pictures, the way things are presented, but there's nothing there.
It's a pretty picture. I've got it as a desktop
nice
background on my my MacBook Pro, but I don't think there's a hidden message
yeah,
there.
it's a nice image. The pun is very It's cheap, if you ask me. California streaming is like, all right. I mean, it's fine, but we could have used that for maybe the Apple TV launch, Apple TV Plus launch. It makes more sense there.
That's a better, good
It
one.
doesn't,
You're good.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
good
really
point.
apply here, I don't think.
Yeah.
You can say that, well, the event is virtual, but they've been virtual, and they're streaming from California. Fine.
Mhm.
It reeks of like I forgot to do my homework assignment. Let me throw something together real quick.
There's no chance, Michael, that they might surprise everybody with like Apple Glass or Apple Glasses, right?
Not even close.
Okay. All right. I
No,
didn't think
no,
so, but
no
I
way.
just wanted to knock that down. Okay.
If and when that comes out, we'll know. We knew the Apple Watch was coming out. We didn't know what it looked like. That was one of the rare products that was kept pretty secret. As far as like, that's why Apple, they announced it months. They did the same thing with the iPhone. If Apple wants to keep a secret, they announce something 6 months ahead of time.
Yeah.
Once it hits manufacturing, forget it. Everybody knows.
Mhm.
But we still knew a watch was coming. We still knew they were working on a phone. They can't keep stuff like that secret. So we've heard rumblings of glasses, nothing solid, nothing specific. Once it reaches the point where it's an actual product that they're developing and making and serious about, we will have tons of rumors about them.
Okay.
So not on Tuesday or this year or next year, probably, or even maybe 2023. We'll see.
Well, playing devil's advocate here now. Let's say somebody has an iPhone 12 Pro Max and they're trying to decide whether or not to upgrade to an iPhone 13 Pro Max. We're looking at what, the A15 chip, which will be faster,
Mhm.
I mean,
bigger battery. So
maybe it'll be a bigger battery. The question is it bigger battery life?
well, bigger because of the screen, right? The promotions.
The promotion,
theoretically,
120 hertz uses more battery, and there's also rumors of an always-on display, which, in my mind, is probably the biggest reason to upgrade. That's a nice feature. I've used it on tons of Android phones. They've had it forever. It's excellent. What it is so when your phone is off, like right now, my phone is off. There's nothing there. It's been that way since 2007. If you want to see anything, you got to double tap the screen or press the button, whatever it is, and then the whole thing lights up, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And always on the screen shows you the time, the date, maybe a couple notification icons, maybe now playing, something like that. So you don't have to turn on your phone, particularly at night in the dark room, a concert, whatever the hell, wherever you happen to be. You can just pick up your phone, glance at it, put it back in your pocket. It's a really good feature, but it does use battery life, because even though you're not lighting many pixels, because it's black and it's OLED, so you turn all the pixels off that you don't need to use, you're still using some to keep that going all day long. And Apple likes to hit those benchmarks, 18 hours or whatever it is on the Pro Max. So if they add these features that we're expecting, they will need to increase battery life optimization to get to the same place that they were at. So, I mean, we could get extra battery life for all of them, but we don't know. All we know is that, or all we've heard is that the capacity is increasing. That doesn't necessarily equate to more longer use.
Is the assumption that the ProMotion display, and I'm still not quite convinced, and I would notice the difference between the last year's model and the new model, assuming that's there. But is the assumption that that's basically for the Pro models?
Yeah.
Or maybe even the Pro Max?
And well, it should be on both.
Okay.
And it'll work the same, from what we've heard, as the iPad Pro, where it's an adaptive refresh. It's not an on or off thing. So when you're using it, when it detects you touching the screen, it'll go up to 120 when you're watching a video, something like that. But when it's off and you don't need it, it'll go back to 60, because again, a battery drain for that. And the iPad Pro has been great for that. It's, there's no perceptive or perceivable, or whatever that word is, loss of battery life from the 2016 model to the 2017 model and beyond. So Apple knows what they're doing when it comes to that. That's why I'm wondering if the extra battery life, they're saying maybe 20% bigger for the Pro Max, which is substantial. Yeah. I just wonder if that's not because of those display improvements. I mean, there's a reason why we haven't gotten ProMotion in the phone. It's been 4 years now, since they introduced it in the iPad. And that reason is because of the hit to battery life. Apple weighs all these things. Is it worth losing 2 hours of battery life or whatever it is to give people a slightly faster screen? No. I mean, I would argue absolutely not.
I
So
agree with you.
until they were able to get to that point where they could either optimize it or could better bigger batteries for the same cost, whatever it is, then you do it. Now you say you won't notice it, and that could be true.
I don't know. I've got an iPad Pro, and when I'm using it and navigating around the screen, it's obviously butter smooth. I get that, but I don't notice when I'm using my iPhone Pro Max and scrolling on the screen. I don't really notice any difference.
Yeah,
It
but
just could be that I'm just not susceptible. I don't notice it as much. That's
You'll
all.
notice it when you go, like if you keep your old phone and you use the 13 Pro Max with
Yeah.
ProMotion, and you go
Yeah.
back to a 12 Pro Max without it, you'll
Yeah.
see the difference.
Okay.
Please forgive my ignorance. Can you guys
Yes.
explain what exactly ProMotion is?
Yeah, probably should have done that at the start. So ProMotion. So right now your iPhone has a 60 hertz refresh rate.
Mhm.
That's standard industry refresh. TVs have it. Every screen, every color LCD screen or OLED screen. That's the standard refresh rate. That means that if it's a 60 times a second or something, that the screen is refreshing itself to work and to scroll and to all those things.
So you don't see a lot of like distortion and jaggies and things when you're moving,
Yes, yes.
moving things on the screen.
Yeah, that's why sometimes when you take a photo of a screen, you'll get like a black bar across it because that refresh rate that you're
Right.
capturing. So what the ProMotion is, that's Apple's brand for it,
Mhm.
or Apple's name for it. That refresh is twice as fast, so it's 120 hertz. So images are smoother, scrolling is faster, animations are faster. The whole experience is sped up. Now, obviously, when you're refreshing more, you're using more battery. So the way ProMotion works is it's adaptive. So when you're not using your phone, when you're reading an article, say, or looking at your social media feed or whatever, it won't refresh at 120. It'll refresh at 60 because there's no perceptible difference to your eyes. When you go to scroll through your Twitter timeline, that's when it'll kick in. You won't notice that because it's all very seamless and all very quick. But when you touch the screen, it'll go up to one. So when you scroll, it will feel faster because it is faster. I mean, as Ken says, it's not the kind of thing you need. So on Android phones, you can go back and forth, most of them. And when I go from 60 to 120, there's a difference, a noticeable difference. However, iOS is really, really good at all that stuff. And so the perception is less because Android feels kind of sticky and mucky at times, and laggy is the best word for it. iOS doesn't really do that, particularly not on new hardware. So that extra speed, that's why they kept it to the iPad Pro, because they didn't bring it to the rest of the iPads because it's not necessarily needed. It's best with latency on the Apple Pencil, which isn't supported on the iPhone right now. I wonder if Apple's going to announce support for the Apple Pencil for at least the Pro Max for a bigger. I don't know, but that's where it's most noticeable on the using Apple Pencil on the iPad Pro. It'll be nice to have. It's not a must upgrade from the 12, certainly not from the 12, maybe from the 11. I would say if you have a 10S or a 10R, that's when you should start looking at the iPhone 13. The 11 you're probably good for another year. 12, absolutely. Unless you're on the upgrade program or you're Ken and you have to have everything.
I want a thinner notch. I've been living for a thinner notch, and I do understand that the 13 is supposed to have. I mean, slightly smaller.
They say 25% all around. It'll look different. It'll look nicer. The speaker won't be as in your face as this model, as it's been since the 10. It'll be. I think that'll visually be a big difference. There'll probably be an extra icon in the status bar on the left and right, maybe. Videos.
My battery charging icon in the upper right. My battery percentage.
Yeah, that might be back, particularly on
True.
this is the 12 mini. On the mini, it looks really big because the screen is so small.
Sure,
So
comparatively.
it takes up a large portion of the top of that phone. So I think it'll look nicer. Again, should you upgrade to 12 because of it? No, there's no reason for that.
And camera improvements, right?
Yeah, we don't know what. Allegedly, it's the same hardware.
Is the night mode astrophotography
That's what
rumor
they say.
thing true?
Yeah.
Because I like, that's the one thing that I would like to see Apple do more with, is that kind of photography.
Sure. Talk to me when you're setting up tripods in your backyard, aiming at the sky and holding it for 30 minutes to take a picture of the stars. No one's doing that.
We're-
No one.
Okay, I would.
You would not.
would.
Here on the
All
East Coast or in the
I'm going to
Northeast.
take a picture and send it to you after I get a new iPhone. If I do.
But spite isn't a reason to use it.
No, it's not spite. It would be because I've taken a great picture and I want you to see it.
All right. I was just going to say, actually across the country, but we're already past the big fall or the big late summer shooting star shower. So maybe for next year. But we've got one quick question from LinkedIn about kind of similar to the notch discussion, but on the other side of the phone, someone's asking from LinkedIn. This is also just a reminder. If you have any questions, comments while we're talking, please do leave them in the comments. Someone asked, will the charging jack be removed from the 13? Thoughts?
No. And I'm going to argue that they'll never take that away. Maybe not never, but not anytime soon.
Never's a long time, but
Never's a long
not for
time.
the foreseeable future.
They won't take it away until wireless charging gets a hell of a lot better. Right now,
And
it's very
faster.
slow. 12 watts, 15 watts. Charging is 20, 21, whatever it is. And like you never put your phone on a wireless charger to get a quick charge. You will plug it in.
Mhm.
Also, people, wireless charging stands or pads, they're not ubiquitous like charging cables are.
Yeah.
So you would have to force someone to buy one. Like that's not happening anytime soon. I don't think, unless they put one in a box, which also isn't happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
So
little
we're looking
expensive.
at the Lightning port for several generations to come.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and even just thinking about how I personally use my iPhone and charge it, I know some cars now have wireless charging pads, but I still got to hook up.
Not many.
I still got to hook up to the USB port, which in and of itself is
Well, that's another
huge-
thing. CarPlay is
Yeah.
not wireless in most cars either.
Mhm.
So now you're talking about you have to figure that out too. So now if someone brings their new iPhone 15 into the car, can't plug it in. What do you do? Nothing. And that's not, they can't. So Apple, there's a lot of hurdles there. The other question is, what the hell is the point? Why do we not have, why take it? What's wrong with the port? The Lightning port is so tiny. Like, what's wrong with it?
It gets fuzz in it sometimes. When you go to charge it up, it doesn't work.
It's in my
It
mind.
does. I've had that happen.
Sure. All right. So get a toothpick and take it out.
I've done that too, and it works, but it's
Safety
like
pin.
it's kind of annoying. And I mean, I think the idea here, and to the questioner's point, is that wireless charging is really convenient if we get to the point where the infrastructure around it can
Yeah.
give you a safe, fast, quick charge. You set it down for 5 minutes and you're charged up. And again, as you just said, Michael, when CarPlay in most cars is wireless, because now it doesn't make sense to have a wireless charging pad in a car where you also have to have a cable to
Yeah.
connect to CarPlay.
There's that issue too. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
you know.
Apple doesn't control any of that stuff.
No.
That's up to the manufacturer. So it's we're a ways away. I know there's
Gotcha.
rumors all the time about the portless iPhone, and Apple wants to do away with it. It's not. It's we're a while from that happening.
Sure.
Don't worry, your chargers will work.
So, shifting now to some other announcements that are going to happen at the event next Tuesday, or just not even next Tuesday, just in a few days. So we have a few viewer questions asking about various products. Someone is
Sure.
asking about any update on a Mac Mini, a MacBook Air. Are those going? Is there any rumored?
Not here.
Okay.
So the Mac Mini maybe, the MacBook Air likely next year is what we're hearing. The
Okay.
MacBook Pro definitely, and that would be either.
But
late
not at
October-
this event, Michael.
No.
We're talking about this fall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
either,
October.
either late October or early November is
Okay.
when those would arrive. The Mac Mini, it's going to get a pretty big update for the higher end model. So right now they have the M1 Mac Mini, which is essentially a MacBook Air for the desktop. It's it's good, it's fine, but it's not like a high end desktop machine. They're allegedly working on one with an M1X chip, more ports and all the stuff that people would want who are buying that model. We've heard rumors for a while. It's unclear. It would make sense to do it this year because it's a year after the other one. So, you're on that cadence. Last year was the 13-inch Pro. This year is the 14 and the 16-inch Pro. Last year was the low-end Mac Mini. This year is the high-end Mac Mini. And that would mean that the iMac Pro, or whatever they call it, would be next April. All of that makes sense to me. So my guess would be on the Mac Mini coming in October or early November with the M1X chip, slight redesign of the case, maybe a little bit thinner, way more ports than we have on the current model. And they're saying like one of those magnetic power cords, like the iMac has.
MagSafe, you mean?
Kind of MagSafe, but not really, because it's super strong.
Okay.
Like the iMac one, which is
Nice.
it's just cool. Like it attaches to the back magnetically, but it's not like if you yank it, the whole computer's going to come with you. It's not what is it, a breakaway cable.
Okay.
Gotcha. So if you trip on it, it's all coming down.
Yeah, your computer's coming with you.
Okay, that's good to know for me. Other products, so that's later this fall, but what about specifically next week? Any other hardware or, I guess, software
The
kind
Apple
of?
Watch 7, right?
Yeah, probably Apple Watch Series 7. That is looking like a bigger upgrade than
Really?
the iPhone. Yeah, maybe bigger screen, 41 and 45 millimeters, I believe, is what the rumor is.
Correct.
A new design. They're saying like flatter, kind of squarer edges to match the look of the iPhone and the iPad and Apple's, relatively new design language. So that would be cool. We don't know much else beyond that. There were like rumblings of like glucose monitoring and skin temperature. Like that's not happening this year from what we hear lately. So there'll be something, some kind of a new sensor, or a new health feature, or a new fitness feature. Like they always do something, but we don't know what that is. And also same with the iPhone, they're saying it's going to have a bigger battery. And now with the watch, that likely equates to a significantly longer duration of that battery, because that's the reason why you would need a bigger battery. There's nothing in the watch. They already has an always on display. It already does, all that background stuff and the tracking, and like Apple's taking care of that with the current battery. So if they increase the battery size, which they're saying could be like, 25 to 50% bigger inside so you're talking about that 18-hour battery life now goes to like a day and change. And that's something, because that's a sticking point, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
With the Apple Watch. You do have to charge it sometime during the day if you want to wear it at night. And it's a pain, because other watches, Samsung, Fitbit, LG, or whoever makes them, Fossil, you can wear them for a couple of days and not have to worry about it. And, you can say, well, what's the big deal? Well, it's annoying. Like if you're going to bed, you're like, oh, my watch is going to die overnight. I got to charge it for 20 minutes and put it back on. Like if it lasts 24 hours or 36 hours or something, that changes the routine you have.
Right.
And it makes it more of a true all-day device. And that's, in my mind, a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Anything, I guess, just as we wrap up.
Here's a question, Ken. When
Yes.
are you going to get yourself on an Apple Watch? Because Samsung threw you overboard.
No, I've got my Garmin Phoenix. I'm good for the time being. I get about
okay,
8 days
okay.
worth of
Yeah, that one.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those things are excellent.
I mean, it's not as refined as the Apple
It's a
Watch,
different
but
experience, but
it's completely different experience. But
Yeah.
for fitness tracking, and it's exceptional. And charging every once a week or so, and that's 24/7, and using it for different activities and stuff. I'm off the Apple bandwagon for the time being for that reason. And you're right, Samsung basically threw away support for like Apple devices, at the iPhone when it rolled out. What is it? The Samsung
the Galaxy Watch 3.
4, 3,
Three?
4.
Three
Yeah.
or four, maybe it's the 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, the latest one it uses Wear OS. They got rid of Tizen, and with that dropped iOS support, which is very surprising. I was surprised at that.
Me too. I had a Samsung
Yeah, I
Galaxy, and I
remember.
liked it. And a good watch, beautiful. Nice design, and so my loss.
I don't know.
I was a Samsung fan.
I don't know what the numbers were of people from using iPhones and buying Samsung watches. Maybe that it just wasn't
Probably
there.
not
It
a
wasn't
lot.
worth supporting. I don't know.
Yeah.
But presumably going forward, you really only buy an Apple Watch, because I have to assume that Fitbit, Google, all kind of follow suit with that.
Hmm.
So I don't know, because
Well,
Fitbit's going
the
to-
Garmin has support for iOS. I mean, I've got an app and I can
Yeah,
track everything, and
but they're
it syncs and
it's a-
sends notifications, and
Sure.
you know.
Yep. But when you think smartwatch, maybe Garmin has a robust iOS.
It's a
following.
very
I'm not-
narrow
I'm not
niche.
sure.
It's a
Yeah.
very dedicated but narrow niche, whereas Apple, is completely part of the Apple ecosystem and
Yeah.
has a much broader audience.
Yeah, and Fitbit and Samsung and Google, they're just bigger names in that space. But the Garmin, they make a great product, and they kind of they carved out that niche, and they do it really well.
Yeah, I, as a former, definitely have not been, definitely not recently, long distance runner, Garmin fans are Garmin fans.
Yeah.
So as we're wrapping up, we just have a few more viewer questions. So one was, we already talked about this briefly, but just to reiterate for this viewer, iPhone 13, will it come with a notch? Yes. Right?
A notch, yeah.
Yes.
Definitely
Smaller
have,
than
will
the
have
current
one.
notch.
It'll be a little bit smaller
So
for the first time.
Another question that one of our YouTube viewers have, and this is, and maybe this is too broad of a question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. It's okay if the answer is not sure. This viewer was just questioning about when the iPhone 13 is going to launch in India, but I'm just going to kind of build upon that question for them. I guess, do you think that after this, once the iPhone 13 launches, do you think we're going to be able to see if and how the chip shortage affected Apple and its worldwide distribution at all?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. Usually Apple launches, I'm looking at the iPhone 12. So the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro went on sale in India on October 30th. And the Pro Max was on November 6th. That was a couple weeks.
So that was
later.
everything was late last year, right?
Everything was late. Yeah. So I think the iPhone 12, it was like middle of October. So it looks like it's about 2 weeks after in India.
So probably end of
expect
September,
that to
if
be
that holds
similar.
this year.
Yeah. So all of the rumors we've heard about supply crunches, it has nothing to do with the iPhone, oddly enough. It's all Apple Watch.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe they prioritized the iPhone of the Apple Watch, but the rumors are that if you want an Apple Watch, you better get one on day one, or else you're going to be waiting weeks, maybe months to get one. And that's true. That was true when they first launched as well. They were super, super constrained. And, even like every model of Apple Watch has been a little bit constrained, but they're saying that this one's going to be real bad. There hasn't been any rumors about the iPhone being, supplies of the iPhone being tight. So maybe because of the design is not much of a design change. I don't know.
I saw there'd been a survey that said something like only about 10% of iPhone users were planning to upgrade this year.
You and your surveys.
I know, but I mean, that would basically, sort of follow on with what you just said, that because it's not a major dramatic redesign, we'll talk about this, I'm sure, down the road, but the iPhone 14 rumors that came out today, that's going to be a major redesign if those hold true.
Sure, but we said that about the iPhone 13 before the iPhone 12 came out. It's always the next one is the one you want. Believe me,
that's true.
They'll sell 45 million iPhones in the next 3 months, one way or the other. I saw that story too about the 10%. I mean, It was, a couple thousand iPhone users extrapolated. And even, let's say it is 10%.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot, many millions of people.
Right. So I'm not worried for Apple and sales.
We should also mention before we go the rumored two different colors, the different black and this new bronze color.
Yeah, sunset gold they're calling it. It's like a rose gold type color.
But it's not rosy. It looks bronzy to me in the images.
Well, it'll be the rose gold did too. It depends on the light, like the lighted.
I had a rose gold.
There might be.
I remember.
There might be two. Maybe it's a bronze and a rose gold. Who knows?
It's a bronzy gold.
Here's a question: do you put a case in your phone?
Sure.
Then who cares about the color?
Yeah, you know
if
what
you
color
have a
it is
see-through
under the
one,
case.
I have a see-through one.
Okay,
Exactly,
Juliet
and
wins.
I do too. In fact, Michael. So there.
So us.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
one more
go for it.
possible. Actually, two more possible. So AirPods third gen. That's a strong possibility. We've been hearing about AirPods for I think 2 years, that they've been coming in every single event. AirPods, next Wednesday, AirPods at the WWDC, everything.
Yeah.
They haven't come out. They've been ready, allegedly ready. The design's been shored up for a while. They're going to be similar to the Pro, but no noise canceling, so no silicon tips, but shorter stems, better battery life, and a kind of a short and stout case. And maybe iPad. Now, I thought the iPad, no. But this week, the supplies of the 8th gen iPad all of a sudden went from like available next week to available in like October. So maybe,
interesting. Good catch. A little tidbit there.
Particularly since the rumors of the 9th gen iPad are just that it's a faster chip and a like the old iPad Air case, if anyone remembers, it had slightly thinner bezels all around. Still the home button. So maybe that too. But that seems like a lot of stuff for one event, and I'm already concerned about my brain because that's a lot to write in one day. But definitely iPhone, definitely Apple Watch.
iOS 15.
Most likely AirPods. Yeah, all right. iOS 15 will land either that week or early the next. And maybe iPad. I would be very surprised if the iPad Mini came out that day as well, because that seems like a bigger release. But last year they released the new iPad Air alongside the Apple Watch Series 6, so who knows? Yeah, we'll see. I just hope everything doesn't come at once, because
basically though, it's like Christmas in September next week if you're an Apple fan, or whatever holiday you celebrate.
Always, yeah. The second full week of September is always Apple Week, and then there'll be something later in October for Macs, and possibly a third event if we don't see iPads.
This is the best time ever for Ken.
Yeah, we like that. It's going to be a nice fall, maybe.
I mean, it always is. I don't know why Apple does this. There's got to be a reason. I'm sure they've done studies and focus groups and meetings and high level whatevers, but it seems to me that why release everything at once? But hey, it works for them, and that's what they do. So.
Fair enough. I just one more super quick viewer question before we wrap up, and then I am serious about it this time. Will the iPhone 13 support macro photography?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I had heard rumors around that.
No, there really hasn't been, and that's a tough one because even the phones that do, some of them do it really well, a lot of them don't. I don't know. Apple is really kind of like, the camera's always better. But those generational leaps require new hardware, and this doesn't seem to have. Like, there's going to be larger sensors for low light. Like, it looks like low light
ultra wide this year too, right?
Yeah. So what we've heard, like, it's going to be a focus on like the astrophotography the camera's talking about, larger sensors, wider aperture. Like low light photography is going to get another boost. Haven't heard anything about macro, and unfortunately, no telephoto improvements this year from what we've heard either, which is that's what I'm waiting for.
Me too. Those periscope lenses.
Yeah, Samsung does like 100x, which is crazy, but like even like 30x would be good. We get Apple says 5x, it's really 2.5x.
Yeah,
and that's not much at all. And if you push that to like 6, it's garbage. You know, Apple zooming is not Apple's forte. So that's what I want to see. That's rumored to be coming into 14 as well, along with everything else. You know, it's always the next one that's going to have everything you want. That's not in this one. Yeah.
When I saw people talking about the 14, I was extremely confused, but I understand.
Yeah, it was weird.
Don't worry about
yesterday, it. Yesterday, a whole bunch of rumors dropped for the 14, and they got kind of sandwiched into the 13, and now people they don't know what to expect.
No, well, the good news is in just 5 short days, we will all find out. So all questions will be answered, or if not all, certainly most. So thank you both so much for calling in and chatting with me. I'm sure that we'll probably have a little bit more to discuss on this perhaps next week. And if you want to tune into the Apple event next Tuesday, September 14th, you can watch it YouTube, Apple website, etc. So thank you both. And thank you all so much for watching this episode of Today in Tech. If you liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you are watching on LinkedIn, you can head over to our YouTube channel, IDG Tech Talk. You can like the video over there. You can also subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified every single time we post a new video. If we didn't get to your question, or you're watching this after the fact and you have a question or comment that you'd like answered, please do leave it in the comments on YouTube or on LinkedIn, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.